Hey guys, it's Easy Weezy once again. It's a pleasure to be with you guys once again. Wishing each and every one of you a good day and happy new month. We're now in the 10th month of the year as the year is coming to an end. Happy new month to each and every one of you. And for those who are going to be watching this for the first time, for those who are old timers who watched my previous videos and forgot to subscribe, please make your way to the subscribe button. If you're watching it on YouTube, feel free to hit the subscribe button. If you're watching it on Substack, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And it's a pleasure to be with you guys once again after quite a while since I dropped my last video, and I hope you enjoy. And I also want to thank and appreciate each and every one of you for the support, for taking your time to like, to comment, to restart, to repost, giving my video the opportunity and my words the opportunity to reach a larger audience and get to connect to more people as we learn, as we grow, and as we share knowledge and ideas and opinions together. And today I'm going to be continuing this series that I started a while back when I was trying to learn and get to express my understanding and my own knowledge about the self. And I was using synesthesia to portray just how the connection we have on a small scale is just the minute compared to that we have on a larger scale of things. And using that medium to talk about various things about the self, about perception, about philosophy, psychology, and various aspects of the self. As we've talked about the soul, we've talked about the body and different things, and get to learn more about ourselves and get to share with the community, and not just Substack, but also the YouTube, and also the broader and the larger community of the world in general, as we learn and get to grow together. And today I'm going to be giving the fourth part of the series, where I'm going to be talking mostly about synesthesia. But before I get to that topic, I always like to talk about the concept of God. I've always tried to portray about the concept of, and the knowledge or the entity or what is God, as we have always tried to always, that has been, it has been a topic that has been debated for centuries, for decades, and for millennia. It has been on the lips of humanity for quite a long time. And I've always tried to tie that concept or the ideology of the knowledge of the connection with the divine, with God, with about the intentionality that has to do with everything we do. And I also try to show, and I also try to tell you about how most of the things we do that seems normal, that seems easy, that seems very, very autonomous for us, as although it seems simple, easy, and normal, but the amount of the complexity behind it, I try to expose it so you know that it's not just as simple, that there's actually an intentionality at work on the subliminal level, like in the unconscious or in the subconscious. It is working, but even if in our unconscious state, we might not be aware, but I try to bring it out so you get to understand the intentionality behind it. That's why I used about the other day is about you raising your cup to drink water, the amount of the contractions, the relaxations of your muscles, and your everything that works with you just making that movement. It might look easy, but the amount of muscles or things that goes on from the mind, the brain, and then your body, it might not be intentional to you, but it works, and that's where the action takes place. Going to when you want to use the restroom, like I said, I gave an example when you want to even use your mobile phone, like I'm using mine now. I had to connect it, I had to charge it. There was intentionality in that. Learning a new skill, if you're reading, you're writing, there's an intentionality in that aspect too. Today I'm talking about intentionality that has to do with making a community, making a Substack post, getting to know someone, building a connection with friends, creating a relationship with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or having a family. There's an intentionality in that, even if it doesn't happen. Like when you're even if the intentionality seems might sometimes not be clear, but if you look at it like there's someone, like I learned, like when a woman wants to give birth, there's the hormones, when she wants it and she's ready, it comes. Something I learned recently. And then it goes from most of the things. If you are being in a relationship with your friends, you have to be intentional to spend time with your friends, to create and get to know each other. So that intentionality is always what I try to portray when I talk about the entity, or when I talk about the idea, the knowledge called of God. Because in connecting with Him, we also need intentionality. We have to dedicate time, we have to dedicate ourselves, in a sense, to be able to connect with the divine. And this is something that has been debated for a while, but in intentionality, you get to see that this is something that is clear, in a sense. And that is all for now when I talk about the concept of God. And today I'm going to be talking about synesthesia in general. And the topic of my video today is synesthesia, when the boundaries of the senses begin to sink. Because today I'm going to be talking generally about synesthesia. And like I said earlier, I use synesthesia to show just how the small scale connection we have in our brain is just the small or the minute scale about compared to what we have on the outer shell, on the largest, on the grand scheme of things, in relation to the cosmos, in relation to ourselves, in relation to everything that is all around us. And today I'm pointing directly at synesthesia, so you will get to understand what synesthesia is, what it's all about. And the core idea of my video today, synesthesia reveals that the senses, like the self, was never meant to stand alone. The leak in the prism shows us that unity and diversity are not opposite, but two sides of the same consciousness. Like I said in one of my previous videos, when I said consciousness, it's the split or the Big Bang or the breaking forth was just actually, if I want to use the concept that Jordan Peterson said, when he said, at the extreme, what you see is light. Because when you go to the extreme and then it curves again, because it's a cycle. When it curves, goes to the extreme and then it goes back, it meets at that same point. The division that seems to be plaguing humanity in a sense, and because there's something when people talk about, they say this specialization crisis. Everyone is being specialized in various things, in this and that and that. But yeah, it's cool. But now everyone is seeing that specialization has been stretched too far, and now the unity about it is coming back, about how things and everything is connected in a sense. And that is what synesthesia, that is what this idea behind this video is all about like it's two sides of the same coin. The split was to make an understanding about the unity, and that is what I'm trying to bring about when I talk about synesthesia. I like to portray my ideas, my opinions and thoughts, each short poems, in proses and short write-up, and it depends on how you want to choose to see it or how. And I hope as I read, I hope you enjoy listening. Close your eyes, imagine hearing color, not seeing it, hearing it. A red that hums like a cello, a blue that whispers like breath over glass, a yellow that tastes like sunlight caught on the tongue. What you are imagining is in fantasy. It's a world some people live in every day. It's called synesthesia, and it's not an illusion. It's a glimpse into how the brain might have once experienced the universe before our senses drifted apart like continents. Let me use the biblical representative to represent what it is about this ending when I say before our senses drifted apart like continents. In the Bible it said the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, meaning everywhere there is water, and there will never be light, and then the earth separated the firmaments, and then you had the heavens, and the water above the heavens, and then the water split, and then there was earth, and then the God was able to create the garden. That's just the biblical representation of it. More, as we keep learning, more keep exposing and keep connecting the dots. The human orchestra. Think of your body as an orchestra. Each instrument, your eyes, ears, skin, tongue, and nose, plays its own music. But what if the violin began to echo the flute song? What if touch carried a melody and sound had color? In a synesthetic mind, that is not mixing things up, it's harmony. It's the hidden unity of perception rising to the surface. Neuroscientists tells us in early infancy we might all begin life as synaths. Our senses open, porous and connected. As we grow, the brain separates them to make sense of the world, because the brain comes into a world that is already separated, that has different segregation of various kinds. So in one that has unity, they'll be able to survive in such a world is actually quite difficult. So the brain does what it does best. It adapts, and then it starts separating just like it is. But in some brains, in some minds, those bridges remain, and through them we glimpse what oneness might actually feel like. Across time, cultures have known this truth in their language. in their own language. Across time, cultures have known this truth in their own language. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Pythagoras spoke of the music of the spheres. The idea that the cosmos itself hums and that sound and geometry are twins. In Hindu thought, Nada Brahman means the world is sound. Everything vibrates, every atom a note in the cosmic song. That's why I get to ask in a sense, what is silence? Because if you're out on your porch or you're out on your balcony or you go out to the garden or you're just sitting down by the beach, you see the birds are singing. If it's windy, the trees are singing. If it's also windy too, you can see that the sea is actually troubled and splashing. So in essence, what is true is silence. And in African traditions, drumming wasn't just a rhythm, it was a form of saying. The drum beat could speak, summon and heal, a sound that carried image, emotion and the meaning all at once. What science called cross senses, mystics have long called the language of creation, the science beneath the wonder. Neuroscience explains synesthesia as cross-activation, one sensory region of the brain lighting up another. See a number, feel a texture. Hear a note, see a color. Maybe that's just the biological explanation of something deeper. What if consciousness itself is a kind of quantum resonance, a vibration so subtle that when it leaks, sound becomes light and thought becomes touch? What if we don't create synesthesia, we remember it? What if we don't create synesthesia? What if we express it? What if we don't create synesthesia? Where we have been created as humans to be aware of it. Just like consciousness, like I said in my previous name, permeates everything. And as Graham Hancock said in something that I love, he said maybe the brain is a receiver of consciousness. Not just the brain, I think everything is a receiver of consciousness, and consciousness is just choosing various means and various forms to express itself to us, be it with sound, be it be seen, be it what you're seeing, be it what you're hearing, be it what you're touching, be it what you're feeling and everything. Consciousness is just playing with a variety of things. The universe itself is synesthetic. Look at lightning and thunder, light and sound born of one event. Look at fire, color, heat, movement woven together. Even the planet seems to communicate through blended senses. Earthquake rumble like drums beneath our feet. Auroras dance as light in the sky, and every heartbeat echoes the tides of the moon. Maybe the universe itself is synesthetic, and the human being is the most refined instrument. If you look at, I normally, in my posts, in my videos, you normally see the link to all my previous posts. I talked about the common body language of the universe, about how just the universe itself and we as human beings are just a representation of the universe. In the shell, we are refined to it, meaning we are able to act it out and express it. That's what makes us the apex of creation, because we are able to express it and share, even think and ponder about it. But the rest are just more like automatic, just imbued in them. The psychological mirror. Psychology says integration is health, fragmentation is suffering. Maybe synesthesia shows us a model of integration. The brain that refuses to divide its knowing. The mind that insists sound and color belong together. Sound and color. If you say your head is just one, but in that one you have sound and color. You're able to see to your eyes, you're able to hear to your ears, all belonging to the head. One head that is just there. Maybe what art, music and love are all trying to do to bridge what was separated. Every painting that sings, every song that paints emotion, every touch that speaks without words, they are all echoes of the same unity. The leak as a blessing. The prism leaks and we call it synesthesia. But maybe the leak is a blessing, a reminder that what we call separate was never truly apart. So the next time a song moves you to tears, or the sunset feels like a sound you can almost hear, remember the universe might just be whispering back in color. And that is the end of my little poem, my short prose or write-up, and I hope you enjoy listening. And if you want to get to understand or follow the series, there's a link to all my various videos. You can feel free to watch them, and I also will be adding a post to this videos for a more nuanced understanding, so you can check it out too to read for those who enjoy reading. I'm going to leave a link in my post, and I want to say it's a pleasure being with each and every one of you. I want to say it again. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, to like, and I appreciate your support. And if you find such videos interesting, feel free to hit the subscribe button and share and repost to get more eyes and more audience. So as we build community, as we learn together, feel free to leave your comments. Feel free to leave your opinions and your thoughts and share your ideas as we all learn from each other and grow together and as a people. Wishing each and every one of you a very beautiful day, a beautiful week, and have a good one. Bye for now.